Hello, and welcome to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk. I'm your host, Coach Kevin Bull Jones. I'm back, been gone for a minute, but I haven't gone that far. And guess what, sports fans? I brought some wonderful colleagues of mine in the coaching football arena, high school football coaches who've been doing it for a while. And we're going to talk about who is the team to beat. Is it Georgia or is it Alabama? And sports fans, if you enjoy sports talk, well, this is what I've done tonight. I brought in guys that do it on a regular basis and been doing it for a very long time. And we're going to give you some little different wrinkles on what's going to make this just an exciting game and why. So if you enjoy the show, please and share like again. The 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk. Well, here it is. Sports fans, I got 1 to 3 guests with me tonight. I'm going to start with the man up to the top of my right, the man by the name of Steve Dvorsny, current head coach at Cairo High School down in middle past middle Georgia, I like to call it. Former state champion head coach at Griffin High School, back in the mid 2014-15 year, around that area. And Steve, welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
And below Steve is Edgar Carson, head coach at Lovejoy High School, one of the perennial schools in Metro Atlanta, definitely Clayton County, who's been doing a fantastic job. It's had so many kids have gone on to the next level to play football, as well as all three of these coaches in here. But a great friend of mine, and even better man and coach, Deuce, how you doing?
Appreciate it, man. Glad to be here.
Good. And then to my bottom left, I have Coach Craig Chapman, currently quarterback coach, running back coach down at Pike County, not far from the Metro Atlanta area. Also, he was head coach at Community Christian High School. He won a state championship, as well as been at Lithia Springs High School as head coach. And also, he and I, as well as Carson, Edgar, share a commonality. We've been together in those very awesome years at Lovejoy High School. But for tonight, fellas, Craig, how you doing, first of all?
Good, man. I'm glad you invited me onto this. I get to talk a little football.
There we go. So without further ado, sports fans, I just want you all to know we're going to talk about the ins and outs of what makes this game so special, who's going to win the game and why. And these three gentlemen, now here are the rules to this round table we're going to have tonight. They cannot give me coach speak, okay? So when you hear me holler, I'm hollering to one of my family members upstairs, please get my whistle, because we're going to have to throw a flag on one of these coaches, because sports fans, no coach speak. We're going to get the butter from the duck. We're going to start off with you, Coach Steve Dvorsny. My biggest question I had, which team do you think is the underdog and why? Let's start with you, Devo.
Well, I never thought I'd say this, but I think Alabama's the underdog this year. Just because I know that's hard to believe I said that, but just because they, had some really close games, kind of hadn't played consistent football all year, and I think Georgia has. I think Georgia's been consistent and dominated every opponent they play. It ain't the same schedule Alabama had, I don't think, but it's still SEC, and I just think this year Alabama's the underdog, and they're ranked lower, so that's also why.
Gotcha. Okay, Coach. And sports fans, I call him Deuce. That's a running long joke. Is Coach Edgar Carson. I call him Deuce because he still thinks he's in the slim phase. But I got pictures that I'll show later. He gained a little weight now. But hey, Coach Carson, tell me what your thoughts on that question is.
Oh man, that's a tough one. But I got to give the underdog to Alabama. But I also think that Georgia, they're number one, but it's going to be tough because Alabama has been here before. They reigning national champs, SEC championship last year. So, but Georgia has been dominant all year. So I'm kind of 50-50 on this answer. But Georgia defense has been unstoppable this year. I know Alabama have played a lot of close games, but hey, they still got old Nick Saban over there. So we'll see.
Okay, Coach Chapman, your chance to answer that question.
I'm going to go with the two gentlemen. I think that Alabama is the underdog, and I think they're a clear underdog. And if you ask me why, they're beat up. I mean, they don't have any running backs left. Talked to a buddy of mine today that said that they've lost 4 running backs this year, and even if their starting running back plays, he was banged up at the end of the Auburn game. They've lost, defensive ends opposite to the great, 31 over there from Dutchtown. So, Georgia, I have seen Georgia play several times this year, not as much as I normally get a chance to. But I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I said I've watched them play about 4 or 5 games, and you hardly ever see them bust a coverage. And, you hardly ever see them do anything. They're always in the right spot. And, if you ask me, at the beginning of the year, I would have definitely said that Georgia would be the underdog going in against Alabama. But after watching what I've seen this year and after watching what I saw last week, I would say that the clear underdog is Alabama.
Oh, wow. So since you guys put it like that, all 3 of you, I'm going to go ahead. Okay, I'm rolling my sleeves up because we about to get real here. Okay. Let's cut the chase. We all 4 of us here got coaches that we know on both staffs. You all agree, gentlemen? We know some people on these staffs, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all can shake your head, nod your heads, but I know you know the truth. We both know, all 4 of us know people. So with that being said, please tell me, what weakness do the Bulldogs have? Since Alabama's the underdog, then what weakness do you see in Georgia? Let's start with you, Carson.
Man, their weakness right now, I think, is, like Coach said, it might be at the running back position right now. Offensively, they're pretty good. Let me take that back. Their offense is pretty good, but defensively, I don't think they're as dominant as they have been in the past.
Now, this Georgia, I want to know what Georgia's weakness.
Oh, I thought you said Alabama.
Maybe I did. Okay, let's go with Alabama, but we're gonna flip it to Georgia. So let's stay with Alabama.
Okay. So Alabama, I think their defense is not as dominant as it has been in the past year. So I think they're more weak on defense.
All right. Coach Chapman, Craig, let me know what you think.
Are we talking about Alabama or Georgia?
We're talking about Alabama first. We coming to Georgia in a minute.
All right, I think they struggle to run the ball. They struggle up front, and because they have a hard time running the football, they struggle in pass protection. They've got some really good wide receivers. I think they lack the dynamic back that they've had in the past, and their outside linebacker core seems like it might have been decimated by injuries early on. So they've gotten to the point where they have played better defense. I mean, what they give up in the game against Auburn? They gave up 10 until you got to overtime, right?
Right.
So I mean, it's not like they were just giving up chunk plays, but you see a noticeable difference when they play offense, and a lot of that has to come from they've just been, you've gone from coordinator to coordinator to coordinator to coordinator. So Young is a great talent. That was a heck of a drive going 98 to tie it up and a gutsy throw to do so, but they're about to see a different animal on the other side of the field, as you would like to say, Coach Jones.
That's a good one. Hey, Devo, let me know what you think on that same one about weaknesses with Alabama.
I think just inconsistency, I think, on both sides of the ball. I mean, they've given up a lot of points to different teams, and then they've held teams down, some teams down, but didn't score many points. So I think just, I don't know what it is, but it just seems like they're not clicking like they usually do on both sides of the ball. So I think just being inconsistent on both sides of the ball.
Okay, I got to bring out my whistle. They just gave me all 3 of them gave me this fantastic coach speak. Sports fans, I told them that's going to be the first penalty in the game. That's the first one. Okay, now I want them to give me the nitty to the gritty. So since they wanted to give me the coach speak, and I love all three of these guys, let me go ahead and break this down. When you talk about Bama's defense, okay, on the season, Bama has 13 interceptions. Okay, UGA has 12. Okay, when you talk about tackles for loss, Alabama has 101 tackles for losses for 432 yards. I'm not a stat guy. But these are numbers. The numbers don't lie. So they have 101 tackles for losses. Georgia has only 79, okay, for 400 yards. When it comes to sacks on the year, Georgia has 41 sacks for 309 yards. Alabama has 44, my old football number anyway, 44 sacks on the year.
Well, listen,
over 300 yards. So now they all played 12 games.
Yeah,
so,
they on the field. They on the field a lot more than Georgia is.
Okay, so that's your defense. You're saying that those numbers come because Georgia has more is less on the field. Is that what you're saying? 3 and out.
That's what I'm saying.
So you mean to tell me? I just want to make sure I'm hearing this right. You mean to tell me? Yes. Georgia gives up 6.9 points a game. Bama gives up 19.9 points, so 20, okay? 7 and 20, okay? But when you talk about, y'all, it seems like what I'm hearing from my wonderful brothers here that Bama doesn't have a chance. Is that what y'all telling me? Is that what you're telling me? Let's start with you. Hey, Carson, let me start with you. You tell me first, and then Devo, and then Chapman. I want y'all to tell me. Y'all, let me put my glasses on. Is that what you're trying to tell me? I want to hear this.
I'm definitely not saying that. Like I stated earlier, Alabama has been here before. All right, they're coming off a national championship, so they got the pedigree. They know what it takes. So that's why I gave them a little edge at the beginning, because, like I said, they got the pedigree. They've been there. They've been in these environments. So, and they got a great head coach. I'm pretty sure he up still game plan as we speak.
Got that right.
Ain't nobody going home tonight this week. So, but I think that Georgia defense, man, I haven't seen that like this in a long time. So,
okay,
that's why I definitely think that but it's going to be. I see it's going to be a good championship, good SEC championship game.
So Devo, you get a chance to answer this one now.
I mean, I think Alabama has a chance to win the game. I think that, but like I said, I just think Georgia's just playing so much better right now. Some of those stats you talked about. Georgia's number one defense hadn't played 4 quarters all year either.
Oh.
They've been. I went to the Missouri game and watched their, I don't know what string it was, 3rd string defense stop Missouri on the 1 yard line for about 3 plays in a row.
Yeah, but that was Missouri.
Yeah,
I mean that wasn't Tennessee that Georgia had a problem with there for a while. Georgia had a problem with Tennessee. Georgia had a problem with Florida. I'm just saying. Right. All of a sudden, am I right? Did they have a problem? They had a problem with Kentucky. Okay. I mean, I'm going somewhere with this. So I'm just saying they had a problem. They had a problem with Kentucky. Defense was on the field. I think that was first string defense first half. Tennessee, I think that was first string defense. Matter of fact, in the 3rd quarter, I think Tennessee was in the game. Okay, so Georgia's had some struggling. But okay. I'm with you there. Now, what about you, Craig? I want to hear your idea on this.
I think the moderator of this forum sat in a meeting one time and had an all-region linebacker, and another coach from another team in the region wanted his linebacker to be all-region because he had 130-something tackles, and our guy had 80. And the answer was, our guy doesn't have the same amount of time to make tackles because we are 3 and out, which is what Carson was talking about. Now, I would never, ever, ever, ever doubt that man, because he would say something like, I may not be right, but I know I'm not wrong. All right, that was one of my favorite statements. Look, my wife is an Alabama fan. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Alabama has no chance. They got Nick Saban sitting over there. All right.
The daddy.
Okay.
Daddy.
And I know that Bill O'Brien takes a lot of heat, but Bill O'Brien's coached everywhere. I mean, he's coached everywhere and seen everything.
Yeah.
So, he didn't coach with Belichick for no reason. So, yeah, Alabama, I'm going to say they're going to be in the game. I'm not saying this is going to be a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying, if you ask me, who was the underdog, and then you threw out all these stats. Now you got to remember who did all the stats for our team.
You did.
And you can make stats tell any story you want them to tell. You understand what I'm saying?
I was hoping you wouldn't catch that.
No,
Craig was always, you knew all the stats. You probably still remember everything from 2011. So I don't remember that stuff.
Well, I still got those things saved on a computer somewhere, because if somebody says, I don't believe these stats, I'm like, nope, I got the hard copy right here, Chief. It is what it is. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think that this is going to be like I listened to sports talk radio coming in, and they were giving the tale of the tape, and they were talking about how, this, and this. And week to week, what's going to happen. They're going to come in and game plan this thing up, and everything that was a deficiency last week for Alabama, they're going to try to find a way to, if they can't fix it, to hide it. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay. Gotcha.
But they're going to give Georgia the most complete team that Georgia's played all year.
Bingo. Okay. With that being said, and with my producer Jeremiah Long, can you go ahead and just, while we're talking, and Coach Devo is going to be the first one to answer this question, because while he's answering this question, just run by those pictures of these wonderful guys up here, and I want to know what weaknesses does Georgia have? Okay, we talk so much, and everybody talks, and even I did a show on that front seven. Okay, so I agree that that's the most amazing front seven I've seen in college football in a long time, and that's even counting some of the Bama years when they had tremendous front sevens. But they had a secondary to go with it, but in this case, I want to know. Start with you, Coach Devo. What do you think are some of the weaknesses that Georgia has? Because to me, they haven't played a bad game yet. They haven't had not one bad game. And all of you all have been, as head coaches, know what it's like that during the season, you're going to have one game that maybe things didn't go well. But what are the weaknesses that Georgia has? Georgia. Devo, start with you. Then we follow that with Chapman, then with you, Carson.
I don't believe they have too many. I think that the biggest weakness, or what people are concerned about, is their quarterback play. I think last time they played Alabama with this quarterback, he didn't do so good. And, he had a lot of balls knocked down, and they had to, rely on him to throw the ball. And he didn't do a great job against Alabama last time. He was quarterback at Georgia, and they played each other. So I think that's going to be the big question mark. Can the quarterback spot get it done? Can he win the game if he has to?
Oh, okay. Here we go. Hey, here go blow number one by Steve DeVoisney, head coach at Cairo. Syrup makers. He said quarterback play. All right, let's go, Chat. Let's go, Chapman. Let's go.
Well, I kind of like what Coach said. And my thought process is that if I'm Alabama, I'm going to take the run away from Georgia and make him beat me. The other thing is, because you're not really sure what you're going to get from Georgia's receivers. Now, their tight ends are for real.
Yeah.
All right. And the other thing is, on defense, their front seven, as you talked about, Bull, is next level legit. All right. But I read somewhere where maybe they were a little bit concerned about, somebody trying to isolate their safeties. Now, that's a big thing. If you can get a safety isolated, but you also got to have the time to do that. All right. So, not giving you coach speak, I'm just telling you straight up. If I was doing this, no, you can put that whistle away. If I was doing this and you're asking me about their weaknesses,
Yeah.
I would say that, I'm going to make 13 beat me. All right. And I might even go to as far as to say I'm going to make 13 beat me with his arm and his legs. I'm gonna make him get involved with the run game, and we're gonna make him play a total game like that. Now, it's not that he hasn't done that. He did that against Auburn. All right. So, a lot of that stuff it has been tried before.
Right.
But, if I'm doing that, then, I don't think I'm going to try to make a living on Saturday getting in two tight ends and trying to run at him. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to pick my spots where I can try to isolate somebody and get them downfield. And if I can get them downfield on the safety, that's what I'm going to try to do.
Now, you talking about play action, RPO, run pass option deal, or you talking about, what are you talking about when you say that? This is what I want the sports fans to hear, the folks that sit watching this game, because they don't see the game that us four guys see.
Well, the RPO game is real intriguing for me, for them, because it's something where you can involve their front seven in a run look and try to get someone matched up on the backside. They do such a good job playing zone defense. They are right where they're supposed to be. And if you watch Saturday against Tech, they're passing people off, and then their speed to react to that and to recover is excellent. But if I'm gonna take my shots, then I'm gonna take my shots on RPO plays and play action. And me, there's going to be a screen off a screen off a screen, because if they're going to rush the passer, then they're going to get screened to death. And they're going to have to prove to me they can redirect and play.
Oh, boy. He said that with his chest out. Okay, deuce, Coach Carson, Lovejoy High School, Lovejoy Wildcats, GATA back in the day. give me your thought process on weaknesses for Georgia.
Listen, I think it's the same thing that everybody else saying and what everybody else think. I think that Alabama's quarterback, he's what, a Heisman finalist?
I mean, he should be the Heisman front runner.
I don't know about that. We got a defensive player at University of Georgia. I'm not biased, but I'm just saying we got a defensive player. You'll have something to say about that.
He doesn't play the whole game. He does come out. He does come out to get his stretching in. He got to stretch. Now, I love 99, but he got to stretch now.
I never called the number.
Okay. My bad. You got me.
He set you up on that one.
But I do think that the quarterback play is a little bit inconsistent. He has played good in most of the games this year, but it's the inconsistency sometimes with the receivers and the quarterback. So the run game is great at Georgia, but if we can get that passing game on point for this week, I think that it could cause a lot of problems for Alabama.
Well,
so yes,
go ahead. I'm listening.
So I do think I do think that they have an edge at the quarterback position.
You think that Alabama does?
Yes.
Yeah, you say it with your chest now. I want to hear it.
Yes.
You're right. So because listen, here's the deal that I'm hearing, because I was at the Georgia Tech game, and I just watched them flip those guys around, and it just wasn't fair. I did see, though, Georgia Tech had some success running inside the tackles. Okay. Now, was that when 99 was in the game? Maybe not. Okay, but there was sometimes he was in, but maybe not every time. But I'm just saying there was some success inside the tackles. Now, outside tackles, it was carnage. I saw bones flying in the air, and I had to cover my daughter because I didn't want to get hit by a flying helmet because somebody was getting decapitated on the Tech field. And I'm sorry, Craig. I know how much you've been an avid Tech fan all your life, and we worked together. And we had to watch that, but I just saw the carnage. But here's what I want to ask you guys that brings this thing back, because I'm looking for something. I'm waiting for something. I got my whistle in my hand for my penalty on you guys, because sports fans, I don't want the coach speak. I want to hear this right now. So, is it true that you think that Stetson Bennett, if he doesn't get the job done, true or false? Yes or no? Do you believe that Kirby's going to have to pull him out that game if he's not able to move that ball against that Bama defense. I'm gonna start with you, Carson.
Yes.
You think he is?
I mean, you're gonna have to. I mean, this is the SEC championship. I say you can't leave any stone unturned. So I feel like you got JT Daniels back. He's healthy now. So I saw that we did gain some tick last week. So so he hopefully that he was trying to see if he can get some continuity with the receivers as well. So I think if he struggles, I do think they will make a change.
Okay. What about you, Devo? What do you think?
I think they will too. I mean, I think they have to. If they're struggling offensively, they'll bring him in, give him a shot, especially if they've got to throw the ball to win.
So now, Craig, do you think that's why, just like what Carson was saying, do you think that's why Kirby put JT Daniels in the game this past Saturday to prepare just in case? Oh, let me hear your answer first and answer that second part.
Well, he's played the last couple of games. He's come in and played the last couple of games, and I think that was his thinking. Other than the fact that both of those games that I saw him play in, I think he's played in the last 3. Okay. So all of those games were decidedly they were one-sided blowouts for Georgia, and I think getting his feet wet and all that stuff. But the guy's a player. It's not like this is his first rodeo. Okay. But do I think that Kirby will pull a Nick Saban and bring a backup quarterback in and light a spark under his team if need be? Yeah, I do. I can't see him. I can't see him just banging his head against the wall over and over and over again. So yeah, I know he takes a lot of heat for the way he has handled quarterbacks, but he's got the ace in the hole this year. He doesn't have there's a guy sitting back there that's got big time reps, that's made big time throws. And if he needs to turn to him, he can turn to him.
So, and this is the crazy thing about what I just finished asking you guys, because while at the game this past Saturday, I often heard the Georgia fans talking about, well, when JT Daniels gets in the game, it's almost like they're assuming that Stetson Bennett is not going to be able to handle this massive chore of dealing with the Bama defense and that Terminator number 31, Will Anderson from Dutchtown High School, coming off that edge. It sounds like everybody is worried about Stetson Bennett. But here's my question, guys. I understand the powerful running game that Georgia has, but what receivers on 3rd and 22? Okay, Georgia has got 3rd and 22. I mean, that's definitely not a run play, but I had one fan joke, or they're gonna run the ball with Zeus, But 3rd and 22, who is Georgia throwing the ball to at that particular time with those receivers? I'll start with you, Chapman. Let's go. Tell me what you think they're gonna do.
They're gonna hand the football off and punt and try to get it back because with that defense, that's what you do. And if I had to guess, they'd throw the ball to Bowers.
Okay, that's the tight end, 19.
Mm-hmm.
He's special. Okay, Carson, you next.
Hey, I love defense. We're going to punt that ball and try to play good defense. But if I'm going to get the ball to anybody, it's going to have to be one of them big tight ends.
Okay, Devo, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting the All-American punter ready to go in. I'm sure, or screen to the Cook kid or whatever running back's in. I'm sure big.
Now listen,
guys.
Y'all killing me. Listen, okay, y'all want to be nice. I want you to be. I need you to peel some skin off. You haven't gotten me yet, so I'm gonna make sure you get me before we get off. So,
the best players on the offense to me is what? Your backs and your tight ends right now.
For Georgia, we talking about for both teams.
We're talking about for Georgia. You saying on 3rd and 2. So if I'm gonna get the ball to anybody, I'm gonna try to get a mismatch with my backs, or I got to get to the big boy tight end. Try to get them mismatch.
And what's one thing that they do well that I think that Bama is going to have to address, that 3 tight end set, that's ugly. That 13 personnel, that's nasty. I will admit that is you because you're taking big You taking 6'7", 6'8", whatever. All my daughter said when she saw him in the game, she said, "Daddy, his name goes all the way across his back." I think it's Washington. Okay, I think it's Washington, Darnell Washington. But they threw the ball to him only to turn around and throw it deep to the 19. And the 19, Bowers, he seemed like he's more athletic than, of course, number 0 is 6'8" or whatever. Should be getting ready to play in the Hawks game tonight. But, I mean, he's 19, seems like the more athletic guy. But nobody's talking. Neither one of you all has said anything about those outside receivers out there, which leads me to believe the defensive side of me has just played chess with you, and you have already showed me that y'all don't care anything about those two receivers out there. It's going to be the tight ends, it's going to be the backs, and it's going to be that all-American punter to get ready to play field position. Is that right? Is that right?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Did you see who they played on Saturday? They played Pickens on Saturday.
I didn't see him make a play. I mean, maybe he.
Well, he did have a catch. He had a catch. Trust me, I remember everybody had a catch. I was curious: did they play him just to get him game ready? Because the reports were he has been having really good practices. So maybe it's something that they saved. We're not going to show this, and then next Saturday he magically is going to appear and be the outside force, and now you have to honor him, and you can't just double the tight end, because I did see Brock Bowers catch a slant and then outrun everybody in the stadium to the end zone. So that's just one thing that I noticed on Saturday, because I even looked at my brother and I said, they got Pickens in the game. That's interesting. That's the first time all year. So I don't know if it was just a matter of getting him in the game against Tech, or if that was just some way to get him some reps before Saturday.
Well, with you saying that, I'll definitely agree with that, even though I didn't notice Pickens in the game. But maybe it's because there was so many tall people, I couldn't see over those tall people during that part of the game. That was the short part of the game I couldn't see over. I got this question, and I want to know. I'm hearing all of this Georgia love, and I'm not hearing any Bama love to win this football game. Devo, you said something early on at the beginning, and you said that Bama still had a shot, but I want to know why they got a shot, because when I look at these stats, the ones y'all told me that it don't mean anything, Bama averages 442 yards total offensive game, 491. Georgia averages 442. Okay, you're going to tell me not the same amount of plays. Okay, you hurt my feelings. I'll leave that alone. I'll kill it. But Georgia has not faced, would you all agree that Georgia has not faced an offense like Alabama's with two? We have not even mentioned. So I'm going to go ahead and mention. I'm going to mention Jameson Williams and John Mechie. And Billingsley. I'm going to do that because you guys didn't mention anything about those wonderful receivers for Alabama. And I'm going to stick my chest out saying that because I want to hear what you all think what Georgia has to do. Do you think Georgia's going to cover these guys? Or do you think that Georgia's going to say, okay, sick them, number 88, 99, and the Wyatt kid and all those, and the Smith guy, and Quay Walker. What about these guys on Bama side? Because last time I checked, those guys were pretty good. Tell me what you think Bama is about those receivers and Bama's offensive firepower. Tell me what you think. I'm gonna start with you, Devo.
I mean, I think they got a chance to be really good. I think Georgia will do like most teams try to do, is rush four and see if they can get pressure and play a lot of zone and get to the quarterback that way. And I think they got four dudes that probably could. And then, if they can't, then they'll pick and choose when they're going to blitz. But I do think the receivers are really good and the quarterback's good. So, anytime you have that, you have a chance. But I don't think Alabama's seen a defense either like they're going to see on Saturday either. So I think it's a good matchup. I think it's going to be. I think both of them hadn't been tested like are going to be this Saturday.
Okay. What about you, Craig?
I'm interested to see what kind of tempo Bama plays with. And I think that if they got anything from the Tennessee game, the tempo early gave Georgia problems early in the game. And, if they can make Georgia have to play base by staying up tempo and getting everybody involved. You talked about Williams and Mechie and
Billingsley.
The Billingsley, and the other tight end's pretty good too.
Yeah, Lato.
81. Yeah. Those guys, they, like I said, I have a great deal of respect for Bill O'Brien, and I know he takes a lot of heat, but he didn't get this job because he knew somebody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's been involved in every kind of game that you can imagine. So he's going to be looking for the matchup, and if that matchup is staying in 11 personnel, and maybe flexing the back out to see if he can get Georgia to declare what their coverage is, so that it gives Young a chance to know pre-snap. All right, here's my matchup. Here's where I'm going with football. But I think that pace and space is their answer, because you don't want to play up inside too much with those guys. You talked about Tech having some success running inside, but if you look at the majority of those plays, they were second and long plays where Georgia had to think, here comes something to the outside screen, a pass, and you're getting a pretty good running back, attacking you in a thin box. So because Georgia was very vanilla on Saturday, if we're being honest, on defense. And, I'm thinking that if I'm Alabama, that the key to what I want to do is I want to make sure that I can move 1 and 8 around and get them on people that don't normally cover them. All right. If I can get them on linebackers, if I can get them on safeties, then I got a chance to be successful. And I got a chance to be successful in a big way.
Oh, wow. Well, Deuce, I'm coming to you because last I checked, I remember, it was about 10 years ago, you had I've never heard this stat before. I'm going to go ahead and say it. You had a secondary at Lovejoy High School that the starting unit did not give up a passing touchdown the whole year.
We gave up 1 against Cale High School in the second round. Junior Huff came out, get his ankle taped, so they attacked him right then. But that guy that made that catch made a heck of a catch, and he's in the NFL. So, yeah.
And I think
he played at Georgia and transferred.
Sure
right.
Did.
Yeah. So now, with your secondary expertise, you tell me what you think. How cautious, how worried would you be about those receivers that Bama has, and all 3 of them, as well 4? Count the tight end. What do you think?
Well, it's about matchups to me, and I think that this is probably the best receiving core that they're going to face, especially and the best quarterback they don't face all year. So that's definitely a concern. I think Georgia hopefully they'll get all their DBs back this week. I know they had 1 or 2 that were banged up, so hopefully they'll get everybody back this week. So, but that definitely is a problem. Michi, he's been playing a long time. So, he's definitely is an issue. And over the last few years, over the last, I don't know how many years, Bama has had some great receivers.
Yes.
And just lost 1 quarterback to the NFL. This guy looks like he's on pace to be the next great one to come through the chains of Alabama. So that definitely is a concern. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully they can get some pressure, though, with their front 4 so that, they can get some help from them backers as well in the passing game.
Now, what if the pressure doesn't work? Because it seems like Bryce Young works well in pressure. I mean, heck, he got knocked on his fanny 7 times last Saturday. He still had the S on his chest. He swelled up and he turned around and led his team to victory. So I want to know what can Georgia do in the secondary if that pressure doesn't get there to deal with them dudes they're gonna have?
They may have to run some zone blitzes. They may have to run some trap coverages. It just depends. But we definitely need to get to him early, hit him a lot early, try to get him rattled.
Well, he's used to getting hit. Matter of fact, I'm just going to tell you, from last Saturday, it looked like a felony was committed the first three quarters of the game. Derek Mason did a great job of blitzing and pressure, bringing 6. That sounded like somebody, y'all know, right?
No, 7. You mean 7?
That sound like somebody y'all know.
Yeah, but he gonna bring 7 if possible, if he can.
If Georgia shows up wearing shirts with 1.6 on them, I'm gonna be worried for Alabama.
Yeah. Well, 1.6 seconds. You got 1.6 to get it off. I said that to a number at a coach, and he was like, "No way." Well, Well, there's video that says
it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a great game. It ain't gonna be no blowout like people think.
Now, with that being said, tell me this right here, because I heard somebody mention Heisman, but you didn't say a name. But I'm gonna say a name, and I want all three of you all to tell me if it's been. Last year was the first time that a non quarterback, Devontae Smith, Alabama, was the Heisman Trophy winner, and the only time a defensive player has won it is Brock Whitson back in 1997. So, with that being said, there's a guy that plays for Alabama, wears number 31, and he has 14 and a half sacks. And he has 30 and a half tackles for losses in this season on what some people think is really not a good defense. I gave the stats, but y'all shot me down. He's got 8 quarterback pressures. Y'all just hurt my feelings, but that's okay. But his stats as the Terminator, Will Anderson, okay? And then you have Mr. Davis, number 99. And I mean, you got all the commentary analysis guys saying, he should be considered for Heisman. Okay, I'm gonna ask each one of y'all. I'm gonna start with you, Carson. Then we're gonna go to you, Devo, and you, Chapman. Of a defensive player, of those two guys, which one should be considered for the Heisman? I got my whistle in my hand too, because whoever gives me that coach speak, I'm gonna blow it.
Listen, Jordan Davis is am I saying that right? Jordan Davis, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's an animal. He's by far a great player. Will Anderson, if I had to take the two of them, Will Anderson, I probably would go with Will Anderson. And I think he's a great player.
You think he's a great player?
Real good player, yes.
Okay, Devo, your turn.
Yeah, I kind of go Anderson too, just because he can play up and down, and he's really good at both when he's up and when he's down. So I think he's just more versatile than the other kid.
Yeah, it looks like they put him in coverage sometime, which, I mean, that's just, like you say, his versatility. Now, what about you, Craig?
Well, I would take Anderson because he's an every down player. He's not just a pass rusher, and I know that Davis is a beast in the middle, so this is not taking anything away from him. But, Will Anderson's there on first, second, and third down. All right. Jordan Davis, he does his job probably better than anyone in the nation, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
2-gap run stuffer.
He 2-gap and he hits gaps. I mean, he slants. I mean,
and they snap him the ball and hand it to him and let him score a touchdown, and then he leads the band also. But I mean,
don't forget he kiss mom and them before. After
yeah, I mean, but if you're going to take the person that does the most all around in the game, it would have to be Anderson.
Gotcha. I would totally agree, and nothing against big number 99, but man, he's even bigger when you see him in person. But for somebody to be that fleet of foot, and to be quite frank with you guys, I think that Jalen, the Carter kid, number 88, there's some unreal stuff because that number 99 is in the game. I think that kid doesn't get the some of the notoriety he should get, but he's cat quick as well. But Bama has that Turner kid who's a freshman, who Drew Sanders can't even get back on the field now, coming back from an injury, and they're saying that he's the second coming of Will Anderson. So they almost are meeting at the quarterback. I read the stats. Y'all shot him down. Okay, I got you. I'm over that now. I've done my rehab. Y'all got me. But the stats don't lie. And regardless of how many snaps you play, you still got to make the play. And if you're battle tested, it seems like Alabama has got just as many dudes. I mean, y'all haven't even mentioned Henry Toa. Y'all, nobody mentioned him. Okay, he's leading the team in tackles for Bama, and I was one of his critics because I felt like he wasn't playing well enough. I think he heard me because the Auburn game was probably his best game inside in the box. But he wasn't used to playing with all the dudes that play like that. Okay, nobody talks about the Christian Harris kid. Nobody talks about him. Nobody wants to talk about the Branch kid. You know, the Helms kid from Bama. Nobody wants to talk about these kids, and I get it because it's across the state lines, and we here in Georgia. But I want to know. I want to know from all three of you all. At the end of the day, the tradition. Do you agree that the tradition of success is going to make a difference in this game because Alabama has had Georgia's number? They had him, 2016? Okay. They had the number, the master and the student. Love Kirby, but he learned that from Nick Saban. So where do you think this is going to lie in the game tradition? Because it seemed like tradition helped Alabama because they were getting the crap beat out of them the other night. And it was looking bad. But it looked like they pulled the shirt and they saw the S, and everybody decided to play the last minute 35 seconds of the game regulation. So do you all think the tradition of what Alabama is doing, because they've had to struggle every game and still win, do you think that's going to motivate them to be better for this game coming up? Or do you think that Georgia is going to have some situations where you got to beat that guy that you haven't beaten, and there's still that enigma about, can I beat the best? I'm going to start with you, Chapman, then I want you, Devo, and we're going to finish with you, Carson.
Do I think that winning breeds winning? Yes. Do I think that Alabama expects to win? Yes. Do I think that certain teams look at Alabama and think that we have to play perfect to beat them? Yes. All right. Do I think that that's going to be a major cog in the game on Saturday? I think it plays a huge part if the game is late, if the game is really close late, because with what everybody has been saying around here, you saw it after the game on Saturday. People were talking about, Alabama should have lost this game and Georgia is going to, destroy them. That was the talking point on a lot of social media websites. So if this game is what I expect it to be, and it is, nip and tuck all the way, because even in years when Alabama was supposed to rip Georgia, I mean, let's go back and look at those. All of those SEC championship games were really, really close.
Yeah.
All right. And, I think that the same thing's going to happen on Saturday. And do I think that could rear its head? Absolutely. Okay. I think the only way it doesn't play in is if Georgia jumps Alabama and just doesn't take their foot off the gas. And I don't see that happening. I really don't. But if that were to be the case, then you might not see it play out as much. But if there's 4 minutes to go and it's a tie game, everybody in the stadium's thinking it, not just the people on Georgia sideline. Every Georgia fan's going, we can't beat these guys. All right, this is Jason Voorhees, Mike Myers. We tried to kill them, and they just keep coming back. I mean, and that's the way I view it. It's kind of like when people would play against us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sometimes you would get somebody's best shot, and then when that best shot wasn't good enough and it was still, hey, we're still here late in the game, then all that stuff kind of took over. So, I think it could be a big part of it if it's close late, and I expect it to be close late. I'm actually, I turned down going and watching a couple of All-Star games this weekend just because I'm going to park myself in front of the TV and have myself a relaxing afternoon, not having to worry about who wins.
How about that? Okay. Devo, tell me what you think. Give it to me. Roll your sleeves up and give it to me, man. I need to hear this. Yeah,
I agree with Coach. It's something you've never done before. Alabama's still Alabama at the end of the day. And, it's in the back of your mind. Can we beat these guys? Can we do it? Even though we got a great team this year, that's always in the back of your mind. And I think, like Coach said, if it's close late, Alabama's been in those games this year, whereas Georgia hadn't. And how are they going to respond to a close game going in the fourth quarter? I think this is a different team than they've had in the past, but still, you don't know because they haven't been tested like that.
Oh, wow. Great point. Okay, Deuce. Let's roll.
I think the intensity going to be high at the beginning of the game. But if it's close, in which I expect it to be, Alabama going to be expected to win. I got a friend. He told me to change his name to RT until after Roll Tide. He said that's his name. He changed his name to Roll Tide the rest of this week. We talk a lot of trash about the game. So, but if it's close, it's going, in which I expect it to be, it's going to be a close game. So, like I said, man, Alabama's beaten him before. The thing is Georgia going to be able to sustain and play 4 quarters of football and get out there with the dub?
Wow. Okay, I got a heavy one. Y'all ready for this? I'm going to put the whistle down because I know y'all going to give this to me real. So I'm going to go ahead and go straight for the jugular vein. Go ahead, prop up in your seat. Devo, looked like he been in the gym. Devo got the shoulder sticking out and whatnot. He going to say it with his chest. I can see that coming. So I'm just going to keep it real. I'm going to go straight get the butter from the duck. So sit up because I'm going to ask the question. And I know all 4 of us got friends and people that we are very familiar with on both of these staffs that are great friends and colleagues of ours. And they stop at our schools to stop by and recruit kids. And we get a chance to, enjoy these guys. But I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. I want to know who's going to win the game. And I've already decided in my mind that I think it's fair to say if Georgia was to lose, they're still going to be in the playoffs. I think all 3 or 4 of us would agree with that. But I want to know who's going to win the game. And when you tell me who's going to win the game, I want you to give me a score. I'm going to start with you, Devo. Let's go.
I'm going to go Georgia 17-10.
What? Oh, my gosh. Okay. All right. I threw the whistle away. So I guess you're telling me that Bama's not going to win. So next question, 2 parts. See, I tricked you. I didn't tell you this was coming. So if Bama loses, should they still get into the playoffs? Yes or no, and why?
I think it depends on how all the games go this week. I think they still have a chance, but probably not. There's going to be too many one-loss teams there.
Well, we only talk about Cincinnati with no losses, and then they got to play Houston, who hadn't lost in 10 games. They lost their first game to start the season, and they've gone on a 10-game roll after that. We talk about Michigan having to play Iowa. I don't know why the heck we still looking at Notre Dame. I just something. There's conspiracy here. I don't even know why they. Oklahoma State is going to have their hands full when they deal with Baylor. They beat Baylor the first time. So with all those things being said, the ACC will not have a representative. I think we all can agree with that. Pac-12 is gone fishing. Maybe they're going to Disney World. So maybe that's the case. So you're telling me that you don't think, Devo, that Georgia, I tell you what, if Cincinnati loses and Michigan wins, does Georgia get in since you think that they're not going to beat? Do you think Bama gets in since you think Bama is not going to beat Georgia?
Like I said, it depends how it all plays out this weekend, but I think it's going to be hard for Alabama to get in if they lose in this championship game with 2 losses.
Do you think a close loss matters? Does it matter, or that's just
I think it does. I think it does if depending on what happens with Michigan, Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, all those guys. I think how does that play out? I mean, I think they ought to be in. If Baylor wins, I think they should be in before Baylor. And in Notre Dame really 1 loss. I think they should, but I don't think they'll vote them in just because the SEC it'd be too favored. I think.
Well, it's okay. Wow, that's deep right there. All right, Deuce. Let's go with it. Well, who's going to win? What's the score and why? Yeah,
I got Georgia 24-10. Late surge in the fourth quarter. I got them 24-10.
Wow.
I had 24-13, but we're going to keep my field goal range.
So, same question to you. Since you're saying that Bama is not going to win, do you think Bama should still get in?
I had this discussion yesterday. I think they should, but I don't know if they are. Just based off the 2-loss team, they still throwing Notre Dame up. And they may favor them in the voting. But I definitely think that they're better than that. I think they should be in, but I don't think they are going to get in if they lose.
Oh, let's just go ahead and say it. Let's say Cincinnati loses their game to Houston, and let's say Michigan wins. Let's say Michigan wins. So now you got Michigan in, you got Georgia in, and you still got to come up with some more teams and you still got some more teams.
All right, that's 2 more teams. So now they'll definitely get some consideration.
Okay.
But I definitely would like to see them in the playoffs.
Okay. All right, chat. What do you think? The score, who wins, and then the second part of that question.
Well, I can't just go with everybody. And where my allegiance lies. So there's not a way in the world that I could realistically come in here and pick them. Although I will say this. I think Georgia is the best team in the nation. Hands down. But I don't think they're going to win on Saturday. I don't. And here's the thing that hurts my heart to say this. I think Alabama's going to win on Saturday. And I think they're going to win 20-17. But I think that not only will I think that Alabama will make the playoffs, Georgia will make the playoffs. I think that Michigan will make the playoffs. And I think that Cincinnati will make the playoffs because I think Baylor will beat Oklahoma State. And then I think Georgia will end up winning the national championship in the playoffs.
Oh, boy. You took me on that roller coaster ride. Wow, you took me on the ride, man. So let me make sure I'm understanding what you're saying, because I know 1 + 1 doesn't. Sometimes it equals 11. It doesn't equal 2. Okay, so let me try this again. You're telling me that Bama is going to beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. Did you give me a score? I didn't hear a score.
20-17.
40?
No, 20. 20-17. Come on now. 40.
I know. That was a stretch. Oh, okay. I know the Georgia fans about to jump through the screen on that one. That was a joke. Yeah. 20-17.
Mm-hmm.
And then they will meet up again in the national championship game. And at that point, you think Kirby is finally going to beat his daddy.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Just because that's the most horrifying way for a Tech fan to watch this happen. For Jordan, that's just the way it's been this year. So I think that all signs point to Georgia winning this game.
So it's pretty safe to say, because y'all didn't ask me, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you anyway. None of y'all even asked me what I thought, but I guess you can understand where I'm thinking where this thing is going.
I know how you thought.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. And here's the deal. I think that it's going to be a close game. I think that there's going to be a pivotal play late in the game that is going to drastically affect whether it's field position, whether it's a botched punt, and recovery, whatever the case may be. I think there's going to be a pivotal play in that game that is going to allow Alabama to win. And the reason why I think that is because Alabama has been built for these situations the whole season. They face adversity the whole season, every game. And just like Coach Saban has been saying, everybody brings their A game for Alabama. It does not look like everybody brought their A game for UGA because they're still thinking about Alabama. Even UGA is thinking about Alabama. Okay, my former teammate Kevin Butler sat on my show and said it. You have to, in order to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And until you beat the man, you're not the man. And we don't need to talk about 1980. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. That's what Kevin Butler said. All-American in the College Football Hall of Fame said it. He said that is what Kirby has channeled those kids into thinking about. It doesn't mean anything until you beat the master. That's what he said. So with that being said, I'm going to leave it with this. Playing with emotions is different from playing emotional. I think that Coach Saban has taught them, and Alabama's gotten it, they've gotten slapped around a little bit this season, and they figured out to play with emotion without being emotional. I think that Georgia's going to be emotional, and that's going to be a key point in the game.
4% no.
So with that being said, guys, that sounds like a Bama fan right there. I just want to tell him Uncle Bull gonna get him. Tell him Uncle Bull gonna get him I'll take care of it.
Now my other one is a Roll Tide fan, so
yes, and we go way back.
I'm breeding this one to be a dog.
Okay, well, I hope that works for you, but he's probably gonna have to live in infamy about what's about to go down Saturday evening downtown Atlanta, and it's gonna be a gala spectacle. Hey guys, I want to thank y'all for coming on. I didn't have to blow my whistle, but twice. Okay, I thought Devo was gonna make me have to blow it all night, and he did good. I got Devo, much love to you, because I was ready to get you with the coach speak.
Yeah.
I still ain't forgot what you did to me in 2013. So I'm still waiting on that video, Devo. Good trade film. He disappeared on me. But guys, I want to say thank you for coming on this show. I want to tell you guys, it's important, and I'm going to do this again when we get talking about the actual playoffs and when they start, because I want people to hear some of the things you all talked about schematically what needs to happen instead of just giving stats. Because the stats is one thing, but like you all said, you said it perfectly, yeah, those stats look that way, but maybe UGA hadn't had to play that much defense. So that's, maybe it is skewed, and I'd give you that. So for me trying to be the moderator of this thing, it was very hard because, I feel like I was attacked by some dogs.
Don't you ever call me a dog.
I know. My condolences. Hey, my condolences to the Rambling Wreck.
Oh,
They caught a wreck. Yeah, they caught a wreck Saturday, but
hey man, I drove 13 hours to watch him play at Notre Dame.
Oh well, yeah. My condolences. No, but hopefully they'll get on the right path. But in the meantime, guys, I want you to know I appreciate y'all coming on. I wanted to get y'all on and still some more things to do with guys who wear this little whistle around their neck like me and try to be the best coach we could be. At the end of the day, we're in the business of changing lives, and I appreciate you all coming on the show because you all are dear to me, for being able to spend time with me. And even after the season over with, we're still friends and comrades and be able to pick up the phone and laugh and talk. And, at the end of the day, this job that we do called coaching, everybody can't do this. And I'm not trying to be funny, but there's a lot, Carson, there's some things you used to post sometimes that really made sense. And you don't post a whole lot, but it hit home for me heart-wise because we're a moving target Friday night, 7:30, And I want to be able to give love to us guys that go in those trenches and try to do it because, most of the parents think they know more than we do anyway. But, it's about the kids. So
everybody coach on Friday night, baby.
Man, they the best, right? I done met all the great ones, the legendary ones. They still alive. Put my son in the game. But thank you, guys. On behalf of my producer, Jeremiah Long, back there making it all happen for me. I want to tell you guys thank you for being on the show, and I appreciate you all spending some time with me this evening to talk some football. And who knows, maybe we can get back together after it's over and find out who was right the whole time. We find out who was really right on what was going down. So I'm not trying to intimidate anybody. I'm just keeping it real. You know, as my granddaddy said, keep it REEL real. Thank you so much for coming on in tonight, guys. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Bull.
Okay, so that's it, sports fans. Deuce, you got something you want to say?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay,
good.
We got some more shows coming up, Devo. So definitely, I'll definitely grab your number again and chat. I just want you to know you did a good job, but your wife did better on the women's segment.
Absolutely. She always does.
Hey, so listen, if you all like the show, sports fans, thank you so much for liking and sharing. On behalf of Jeremiah Long, our producer, thank you for enjoying us sitting and listening on 100 yards of football sports talk. You all have a great evening. Thank you.